What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. And President Donald Trump and the White House apparently now want a larger stimulus package along with larger stimulus checks for some. I'm going to give you all the details of that and more in this video. But first, if you can, give this video a like down below. It really helps out our channel. My wife and I do all the research for you every single day so we can bring you all the stimulus check, election, and related news in a quick, concise video. And if you haven't yet, click the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on new videos as they come out. A lot of people were asking what happened to my 8 p.m. video last night on stimulus. I typically have videos coming out at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, after we made our 3 p.m. video, which, we have to make it a little bit before 3 p.m., we jetted out with the family. I took my wife and my 2-year-old son, Julian, and her parents out to Amish country where Julian got to pet goats, baby horses, and turkeys and feed them. And we were able to buy a bunch of awesome food and basically just had an awesome day. So I uploaded a video for you guys that I made previously on some unexpected ways to save money that you might not have thought about. If you haven't watched that video yet, I will link it to you at the end of this video because there's some pretty creative ways in there on ways that you can save money right now that you might not have thought about. So with that being said, let's jump right into stimulus check news. President Donald Trump and the White House are now saying that they have raised their offer or their counter offer to the Democrats, and they want an even larger stimulus package now, even larger than the Democrats and the Republicans, and this could include larger stimulus checks. This included the Republicans raising their counter offer to the Democrats and raising their proposal to $1.8 trillion. This has come up a long way from the White House have starting from $1 trillion to $1.3 trillion to $1.5 trillion to $1.6 trillion, now to $1.8 trillion. The Democrats have come down from $3.4 trillion to $2.2 trillion, and now that they're at $2.2 trillion and the White House is at $1.8 trillion, they're not very far apart at all. And until President Donald Trump kind of blew up the negotiations a few days ago when he said to call off the negotiations because Nancy Pelosi wasn't negotiating fairly, they only had just a few issues that they were still working on to iron out the details. Since then, Nancy Pelosi has said that they have ironed out more details and basically have ironed out the language of the actual bill on what she's working with Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi have been talking pretty much every single day at this point since the negotiations have been back on after President Donald Trump says, well, that tweet that he said where, to call off negotiations? Well, he didn't really mean that. And what he really meant is let's negotiate again. And we're going to raise our offer. And now we actually want even more stimulus than we talked about before. Which is great news to the Democrats because the Democrats have had the larger stimulus package, $2.2 to $3 trillion, and the Republicans were the ones that weren't on board with spending that much money. In fact, there will be some Republicans that won't vote for any bill, especially in the Senate, of anything over $1 trillion, but they only need 13 votes from Senate Republicans, and we've already started to see several different Senate Republicans come out and say that they're now willing to do a deal. As you can see here, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin spoke for more than 30 minutes on Friday afternoon, and Nancy Pelosi's spokesman, Drew Hamill, said that they attempted to address some of the concerns the Democrats have. He says of special concern is the absence of an agreement on a strategic plan to crush the virus. It's almost like we've never heard Nancy say, crush the virus. It's like the first time we've ever heard her say that. For this and other provisions, we are still awaiting language from the administration as negotiations on the overall funding amount continue. In a tweet before the meeting, President Donald Trump urged negotiators to, quote, go big. And really, that's just for publicity, just to basically say what they're saying, because the only negotiators is Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, who speaks directly with the president. So it's not like he's sending a message to the negotiators, because there's only one negotiator at this point, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin. Well, I guess you could consider that maybe he's sending a message to Nancy Pelosi also, but I don't think he wants Nancy Pelosi to go big, because she's already the larger of the stimulus package. It's the one that wants more money than what the White House and what other Republicans are willing to spend. Honestly, I think Donald Trump would pretty much give Nancy Pelosi anything she wants, because she wants a large stimulus package with pretty much everything in the kitchen sink thrown in there. That's good, honestly, good for America. I mean, the only thing that's not good for is the national deficit. But a lot of people say that this isn't even national debt, because it's not money that is owed to anybody. It's there's no interest on it. It doesn't need to be paid back. It doesn't go to another country. It's literally just money that the government prints, gives to Americans. It goes into the economy, and it's just kind of spent. It just goes around. They give out stimulus checks, and then basically, they spend it, in the United States on their bills, car payments, food. So there's no interest, there's no debt, there's no anything on that. And Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell recently said, like within the last 24 to 48 hours, that the average amount of stimulus that other large major countries are spending is 30% of their GDP, or the amount of stimulus they're spending is equal to 30% of their country's economy. The United States is only spending 15% of our GDP, or 15% of our economy's worth. So we're actually spending less stimulus than pretty much all the other major countries out there. And economists have warned that spending less will lead to a longer rebound period. I mean, we all know we're going to rebound at some point, as long as this virus does go away at some point and people are actually able to return to normal. But as long as that happens, we're going to recover at some point. But more stimulus and more money pumped into the economy just means a faster rebound for people's jobs and businesses, and all those businesses that are struggling right now. Currently, 1 in 6 small businesses have already gone bankrupt and already gone out of business. 1 in 6. That is an absolutely astounding number. President Donald Trump says, quote, "I would like to see a bigger stimulus package, frankly, than either the Democrats or the Republicans are offering." He told radio host Rush Limbaugh hours after apparently signing off on the offer that costs $400 billion less than the Democrats' plan. But get this, apparently in this bill that President Donald Trump just approved, that's basically a counteroffer to the Democrats, it actually has larger stimulus checks in there, at least for some. As you can see here from the Washington Post, the White House's offer on stimulus checks includes $1,000 per child instead of $500 per child that was provided in the first stimulus package, the CARES Act, and it's also larger than pretty much every other stimulus package we've seen from both the Republicans and the Democrats, which has always had $500 for dependents. According to two people with knowledge of the plan, the increase in payment to children appears to be intended as a compromise measure for rejecting tax credits for children pushed by Nancy Pelosi in negotiations. So, this means that the average American family, which has 2.2 children and 2 adults, of course, you don't really get anything for that 0.2 children. So you're going to have to actually have a full child to receive a stimulus check for them. But 2 adults would be $1,200 and $1,200, $2,400, and 2 children, instead of $500 each, would be $1,000 each for $2,000. So $2,000 for 2 children, and 2 adults would be $2,400 for a total of $4,400, and that's not bad. Now, of course, if you have more or less people in your family, you would receive more or less, and just really nothing I could do about that. And listen, if I could give you guys stimulus checks every single month, I would. I've gotten a lot of comments from you guys. Jimmy, just call up your contacts. Listen, if I had contacts in the White House, I would. Honestly, it's not President Trump wants to pass stimulus. He wants to get this done before the election because it increases his chances of basically being reelected, okay? But right now, he has to deal with Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats to get an agreement for a stimulus package, because a stimulus package is better than, even if he does decide to pass a stimulus check through a presidential executive order, the stimulus package is better. So he might just be holding off on that executive order to see if he can actually get an agreement before the election. The election is still about 4 weeks away, so he might think he still has some time, but the package is better because it has the larger stimulus checks possibly now for children. It has the unemployment extension of $400 to $600 per week. That goes for at least 26 million people that are currently on it. It has mortgage and rental assistance, so you could receive another stimulus check for that. There's money for schools. There's money for small businesses. There's money for all sorts of different things, testing and tracing the virus, the vaccine. So honestly, a stimulus package will help out not only him and his chances of reelection, but America and Americans a lot more. Because if you get a check for, say, stimulus, or I should say a stimulus check, and you're possibly unemployed, you're going to get a check for that every week until you get your job back. You also could get a check for mortgage and rental assistance. So really, a stimulus package is much better than just a check. Also, let us know if you're affected by the new Hurricane Delta. My wife's mom, who's seen the broadcast, said, "Wow, I didn't realize how large that hurricane is." And she's right, it's absolutely massive. Let me know if you guys have been affected by this and if you're safe, or if you have any family that has been affected by this. And honestly, it's just 2020 is just one of those years where it's just, can we just get this year over and start fresh and not have crazy things happening every week or two? Also, the Presidential Debate Commission has officially canceled, at least as of now, the October 15th second presidential debate, which basically happened because President Donald Trump had the virus, still has the virus, and they didn't want to do an in-person meeting because he's still positive. So because of that, the commission said that they're going to have to do a virtual meeting, and President Donald Trump swiftly said he doesn't want to do a virtual meeting. He doesn't want to waste his time doing a virtual meeting. So Joe Biden said, well, he'll just have his own debate by himself. He'll have his own town hall where he'll speak to Americans without President Trump, and that's what he's going to do for that day anyways. So now it looks like the presidential debate is officially canceled, unless something changes, because you know how quickly things change around here. Also, don't forget to smash the like button if you haven't yet for me, and subscribe down below. I will keep you guys updated as new information comes out. You can click the bell icon next to the subscribe button if you want to be notified when we go live. You can click the bell and then click all notifications. We have videos going live typically at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you guys updated as new information comes out. And you can click on this bottom video to watch my video about unexpected ways to potentially save money. And this top video is my newest stimulus check video next. You can also click on this video to watch how to start a business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, and I will see you in the next video.